Pilgrimage to Assisi honoring St. Clare, St. Francis, and Blessed Carlo Acutis, Memorial of St. Clare, Virgin. This reflection is prepared by Father Aube Francis, pastor at St. Jude Church, Grand Rapids, Michigan, USA. I was so blessed to visit, along with 43 people from my parish and other dear friends, the beautiful town of Assisi in Italy. We visited the church where the incorrupt body of St. Clare rests. It was a deeply uplifting moment. While in Assisi, we also prayed at the tomb of St. Francis of Assisi and visited the resting place of Blessed Carlo Acutis, who will be canonized in September 2025. Truly, Assisi is a place where the fragrance of holiness still lingers in the air. Life of St. Clare. St. Clare was born in Assisi, Italy, on July 16, 1194, into a noble and wealthy family. From a young age, she showed a deep desire for prayer, penance, and a life dedicated to God. When she was 18, inspired by the preaching and example of St. Francis of Assisi, Clare secretly left her family home on Palm Sunday night in 1212 to follow Christ in the Franciscan way. Francis welcomed her, cut her hair as a sign of her new consecrated life, and placed her in a Benedictine convent for protection from her family's opposition. Soon after, other women joined her, including her own sister Agnes. Together they formed a community that would later become known as the Poor Clares. Clare founded the first convent at the Church of San Damiano, where she served as abbess for 42 years until her death. Her way of life, St. Clare embraced a life of radical poverty, prayer, and charity, refusing all ownership of property and living entirely on God's providence. She personally cared for the sick sisters, mended their clothes, and prayed day and night for the church and the world. She was known for her gentleness, wisdom, and deep love for Christ in the Eucharist. One of the most famous moments in her life was when she confronted an invading army by holding up the Blessed Sacrament miraculously. The soldiers fled without harming the town. Accomplishments founded the Order of Poor Clares, now spread across the world. First woman in church history to write a rule of life for her community, approved by the Pope just 2 days before her death in 1253. Inspired generations to live simply, trust in God's providence, and love the Eucharist. Served as abbess for decades, guiding her sisters with compassion and humility. Here are short quotes from St. Clare of Assisi you will want to know. St. Clare's words, spoken with love for Christ and trust in God's providence, continue to inspire hearts across the centuries. May these brief quotes uplift your spirit and draw you closer to the Lord. 1. Love God, serve God. Everything is in that, too. We become what we love, and who we love shapes what we become. 3. Gaze upon Him, consider Him, contemplate Him, as you desire to imitate Him. 4. Our body is not nourished by corruptible food, but by the bread of life. 5. Cling to His most sweet mother, who carried a son whom the heavens could not contain. 6. Place your mind before the mirror of eternity. 7. What you hold, may you always hold. What you do, may you always do and never abandon. 8. Go forth in peace, for you have followed the good road. 9. We are to become vessels of God's compassionate love for others. 10. Never forget that the Lord has called you. 11. Totally love Him, who gave Himself totally for your love. 12. We are to gaze upon the Lord with the eyes of our soul. 13. Be faithful in little things, and the Lord will give you greater things. 14. Happy indeed is she who hears the holy words of the gospel and keeps them. 15. Live without compromise, for the love of the one who loved you first. Lessons from her life. St. Clare teaches us that holiness is not found in wealth, comfort, or status, but in simplicity, humility, and total trust in God. Her love for the Eucharist reminds us that Christ's presence is our greatest treasure. She shows us that leadership in the Church is best exercised through service, sacrifice, and love. Question for meditation: am I willing to let go of what the world values most so that I can hold on to Christ more closely, as St. Clare did?